Have you ever felt like living in the middle of storm waters? Have you ever felt life pressing down on you, whispering that it's time for a fresh start? That urge to hit reset isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And today, we're turning to the most battle-tested life manual ever written, Stoic Philosophy. This isn't just dusty wisdom from 2,000 years ago. This is your survival toolkit for right now, for the office politics crushing your spirit, the social media envy poisoning your peace, the family dynamics testing your patience. The ancient Stoics, from slave-turned-teacher Epictetus to Emperor Marcus Aurelius, faced wars, betrayals, and plagues, yet left us a roadmap not just to survive chaos, but to thrive within it. We'll begin by uncovering the core Stoic principles that transform obstacles into fuel, how to spot the difference between what controls you and what you can control, why your worst days might be your most valuable teachers, and how to build an inner citadel no external storm can breach. Then we expose the 7 toxic behaviors Stoics warn will sabotage your growth, from the addiction to complaining that keeps you powerless, to the dangerous habit of trusting the wrong people with your vulnerabilities. Because here's the hard truth. The world contains predators who can smell self-doubt like sharks scent blood. You'll learn to armor your weak spots without losing your humanity. Imagine yourself as that oak tree in the storm, leaves thrashing but roots unshakable. By the end, you'll have more than philosophy. You'll have practices to spot emotional traps before you fall and convert pain into progress. Move through chaos with eerie calm. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally bulletproof. The reset button isn't out there. It's waiting in your mind. Press it now. Stay tuned. We're just getting started. First, resilience. Imagine standing in the eye of life's storm, chaos swirling around you while you remain perfectly calm. This isn't fantasy. It's the power of Stoic philosophy, and it's within your reach right now. The great thinker Epicurus laid down principles that have stood the test of time, not because they're complex, but because they reveal a profound truth. True strength whispers, while weakness screams. In our hyper-connected world where everyone fights to be heard, the first Stoic principle hits like a thunderclap of wisdom. Listen more than you speak. This isn't just good manners. It's a revolutionary act in an age of endless noise. Think about the last conversation you had. Were you truly listening or just waiting for your turn to talk? The Stoics understood what modern neuroscience confirms. When we quiet our own voices, we open doors to understanding that can never be unlocked through speaking. This ancient practice of deep listening does something remarkable. It transforms relationships from transactions into connections. In the workplace, it turns colleagues into allies. In love, it builds bridges where words often build walls. When you master this art, you'll notice people lean in when you speak, not because you talk more, but because you've shown them the rarest gift of all, the feeling of being truly heard. But here's where it gets powerful. This listening isn't passive. It's an active, disciplined practice of presence. It's putting down your phone, silencing the mental chatter, and giving someone your full attention. A radical act in our distracted age. The Stoics knew that in these quiet spaces between words, wisdom grows. Your challenge today? In your next conversation, speak only half as much as you normally would. Notice what changes. You might just discover that what you've been searching for in all those spoken words was waiting for you in the silence all along. Stay tuned. We're just beginning our journey into Stoic wisdom. Next, we'll explore how this listening transforms into unshakable inner peace that no external storm can disturb. Second, failing forward. The Stoic secret to turning setbacks into strength. What if everything you've been taught about failure is wrong? The ancient Stoics, those unshakable philosophers who faced exile, war, and personal tragedy with eerie calm, discovered a radical truth. Your lowest moments contain the seeds of your greatest growth. This isn't motivational fluff. It's a psychological superpower hiding in plain sight. Epicurus and his fellow Stoic masters didn't just tolerate failure, they revered it. While modern society teaches us to hide our stumbles, these thinkers built an entire philosophy around one transformative idea. Every fall is a lesson dressed in disguise. That project that crashed, the relationship that failed, the opportunity you missed. These aren't marks against you. They're your personal curriculum in becoming unbreakable. Here's how this works in real life. When you hit a wall, the Stoic doesn't pound against it in frustration. They step back, study its texture, measure its height, gathering intelligence for the next attempt. This is what separates those who are broken by failure from those who are forged by it. The difference isn't in what happens to you, but in what you choose to see in what happens. The magic lies in what neuroscientists now call productive failure, that sweet spot where mistakes become active ingredients for wisdom. When you approach setbacks with clinical curiosity rather than crushing shame, something remarkable happens. Your brain starts mapping new neural pathways, turning stumbles into stepping stones. The entrepreneur who analyzes why their venture failed gains more practical wisdom than one who never risked at all. But here's where most go wrong. We either beat ourselves up mercilessly or pretend the failure never happened. The Stoic path is different. It's about sober, unsentimental reflection. Ask without flinching, what exactly went wrong? What part was within my control? How will this inform my next move? This isn't self-punishment, it's strategic debriefing. Your challenge today, take one recent failure and perform a Stoic autopsy on it. Not to assign blame, but to extract gold. What did it reveal about your blind spots? What muscles did it force you to develop? You'll likely discover that your most painful stumbles contained exactly the lessons you needed to level up. Remember, the path to greatness isn't a straight line. It's a series of strategic zigzags. Every master was once a disaster. Every expert began as a beginner. The Stoics didn't avoid failure. They mined it for wisdom. And now that same power is yours for the taking. The third Stoic principle, the Stoic superpower, how preparing for the worst unlocks your best life. Imagine standing at life's edge, staring into the unknown, not with sweaty palms and a racing heart, but with steady breath and quiet confidence. This isn't fantasy. It's the revolutionary Stoic practice called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. And contrary to what you might think, this ancient technique isn't about pessimism, it's about liberation. The Stoics discovered what modern psychology now confirms. When we courageously envision worst-case scenarios, something miraculous happens. Those shadowy fears lurking in our minds lose their power to paralyze us. By mentally rehearsing life's potential storms, job loss, heartbreak, failure, we don't attract disaster. Instead, we build an emotional immune system so robust that when challenges inevitably come, as they always do, we meet them not with panic but with practiced poise. This practice works like psychological weight training. Just as athletes condition their bodies by lifting heavier weights than they'll face in competition, Stoics strengthen their minds by contemplating heavier burdens than daily life typically brings. The result? When real difficulties arrive, you're not crushed, you're prepared. That difficult conversation with your boss, you've already run through it mentally. That financial setback, you've already explored your contingency plans. But here's the beautiful paradox. This preparation doesn't make life darker, it makes the present brighter. When you've honestly faced how much you could lose, every ordinary moment becomes extraordinary. Your morning coffee tastes richer. Your child's laughter sounds sweeter. The sunlight through your window feels like a gift. This is the Stoic secret to gratitude, not naive positivity, but clear-eyed appreciation forged in the fires of honest reflection. Your challenge today: spend 5 minutes with this powerful exercise. Imagine the worst plausible outcome in one area of your life. Now ask, how would I survive? What strengths would I discover? What truly matters? you'll likely find that even in your imagined catastrophe, you're more resilient than you feared. The fourth Stoic principle, the Stoic truth about money that no one wants to hear. We live in a world obsessed with wealth, where social media flaunts luxury cars, designer clothes, and lavish vacations as the ultimate markers of success. But the Stoics, those unshakable philosophers from ancient times, saw through this illusion with terrifying clarity. Their warning rings just as true today. Wealth doesn't corrupt people, it reveals them. This isn't some puritanical rejection of money. The Stoics understood its utility. What they fiercely warned against was the silent, insidious way prosperity can hollow out your soul if you're not vigilant. That promotion you're chasing, the bigger house, the luxury watch, they're not inherently evil. But when they become the yardstick by which you measure your worth, you've already lost something far more valuable. Here's the uncomfortable truth no one tells you. Money is a magnifying glass. If you're kind, wealth will amplify your generosity. If you're insecure, it will exaggerate your need for validation. The Roman Stoic Seneca, one of the richest men of his time, put it bluntly: money has never yet made anyone rich, because real wealth was never about your bank balance. It's about the richness of your character, the depth of your relationships, and your capacity to find joy in simple things. The danger isn't in having wealth, it's in being had by wealth. That moment when you realize you've spent years climbing the ladder only to find it leaning against the wrong wall. When you've accumulated possessions but lost touch with yourself. When you can buy admiration but can't earn respect. This is why the Stoics practiced voluntary hardship, not because poverty was virtuous, but to remind themselves they could be happy without their comforts. They knew what modern research confirms. Beyond meeting basic needs, more money doesn't mean more happiness. In fact, it often means more anxiety, more isolation, more moving goalposts of enough. Your challenge today: take a hard look at your relationship with money. Not the practical aspects, but the emotional ones. Does your pursuit of more leave you constantly dissatisfied? Have you quietly begun to measure people, including yourself, by their net worth rather than their character? The answers might surprise you. Stay grounded, stay stoic. The fifth Stoic principle, the Stoic secret to an unbreakable mindset. Why you need multiple paths to happiness. We live in a culture obsessed with singular, all-consuming dreams, the one thing that will supposedly make everything perfect. The dream job, the perfect relationship, the big break. But the Stoics saw the dangerous flaw in this approach 2,000 years ago. Putting all your hopes in one basket doesn't make you dedicated. It makes you fragile. This isn't about giving up on your ambitions. It's about recognizing a fundamental truth of human psychology and the nature of reality. Life is unpredictable. Markets crash. Relationships change. Opportunities evaporate. When you stake your entire identity and happiness on a single outcome, you're building your emotional house on quicksand. The Stoic alternative: cultivate multiple gardens of meaning. That promotion you're working toward, pursue it passionately, while also nurturing your side projects. That relationship you cherish, love deeply, while maintaining your individual interests and friendships. This isn't lack of commitment, it's wisdom in action. When you have several sources of fulfillment, setbacks in one area become survivable rather than catastrophic. Here's what happens when you adopt this mindset. You stop seeing closed doors as dead ends and start recognizing them as redirections. The job you didn't get frees you for an unexpected opportunity. The relationship that ended creates space for new connections. By diversifying your emotional investments, you gain the superpower of resilience, the ability to take life's punches without going down. But there's an even deeper benefit. This approach reveals hidden joys you might otherwise miss. The hobby you took up as a backup becomes a passion. The side project becomes your true calling. The friendships you nurtured during downtime become lifelong bonds. When you're not desperately clinging to one narrow vision of success, you become open to life's surprising gifts. The sixth Stoic principle then takes this further. True wealth isn't about accumulating more, but about appreciating what's already yours. In a world constantly whispering, "You need this to be happy," the radical act is to declare, "I already have enough." This doesn't mean abandoning ambition. It means pursuing goals from a place of abundance rather than lack. Your challenge today: identify one area where you've put all your hopes, then plant a second seed. Start developing an alternative source of meaning, and practice the Stoic art of negative visualization. Imagine losing what you have to rediscover its value. Drop a comment below. What's one backup source of happiness you've discovered when a primary goal didn't work out? Your story could help someone else see new possibilities. Remember, the oak tree that bends with the storm survives. The rigid one snaps. Your dreams should be the same, multiple, flexible, and deeply rooted in gratitude for what already is. Stay adaptable. Stay stoic. The sixth Stoic principle, the millionaire mindset you already have, a Stoic secret to true wealth. Epictetus, the former slave who became one of history's greatest philosophers, discovered a truth that still shocks us today. The richest person isn't the one with the most, but the one who needs the least. This isn't some feel-good platitude. It's a psychological revolution waiting to happen in your life right now. Imagine waking up each morning genuinely content before checking your bank account. Picture feeling abundant even when life doesn't go your way. This is the power of what Epictetus called the grateful heart, the ultimate wealth that no market crash can take and no rival can steal. In our world of endless scrolling through curated perfection, we've been brainwashed into believing happiness lives in the next purchase, the next achievement, the next life upgrade. But the Stoics flipped this script 2,000 years ago. Contentment isn't something you acquire, it's something you uncover within yourself. Here's how this works in practice. When you train yourself to see the extraordinary in ordinary blessings, a warm meal, a friend's laugh, sunlight through your window, you short-circuit the endless craving for more. That promotion you didn't get, it stings less when you're already grateful for the job you have, that fancy car you can't afford. It loses its allure when you appreciate the reliable transportation at your disposal. But don't mistake this for complacency. This is about pursuing goals from a place of wholeness rather than lack. When you operate from gratitude, your ambitions become expressions of your potential rather than desperate attempts to fill a void. Your Stoic challenge today: before reaching for your phone in the morning, name 3 simple blessings in your life right now. Notice how this small act changes your entire day. Remember, the real luxury isn't a bigger house, it's peace with the home you have. Not a fatter bank account, but a heart rich in appreciation. This is the wealth that grows when everything else fades. The 7th principle, the life-changing power of remembering death, a Stoic guide to truly living. There's an uncomfortable truth we spend our lives running from, but the Stoics believed was the key to freedom. You could die tomorrow, not in some morbid, fearful way, but as the most electrifying wake-up call imaginable. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the ancient world, wrote these haunting words to himself each morning. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This isn't about morbidity, it's about urgency. That project you've been postponing, the grudge you've been nursing, the love you've been too afraid to express. Death's inevitability isn't here to scare you, it's here to free you. When you truly absorb that your time is limited and uncertain, something miraculous happens. The trivial falls away, and only the essential remains. Imagine viewing every day as if it were both your first and last. How would you spend your mornings differently? What conversations would you finally have? Which petty worries would instantly seem ridiculous? This is what the Stoics called memento mori, not as a dark obsession, but as the ultimate prioritization tool. The modern world drowns us in distractions, endless scrolling, mindless consumption, superficial pursuits. but remembering death cuts through the noise like a knife. Suddenly, that argument over a parking space seems absurd. That obsession with impressing strangers evaporates. What remains is crystal clear. Only love matters. Only creativity endures. Only kindness leaves a mark. Here's the paradox. Contemplating death doesn't make life darker. It makes the present moment vibrantly alive. The taste of your morning coffee sharpens. Your child's laughter becomes piercingly beautiful. Even ordinary moments glow with significance when you realize they're finite. This practice does something radical to your relationships. When you truly grasp that every interaction could be your last, you stop waiting for the right moment to mend fences, express appreciation, or show affection. You stop collecting material things and start collecting meaningful experiences. You measure wealth not in possessions, but in moments that take your breath away. Your Stoic challenge today: write down what you'd do differently if you knew you had 1 year left to live. Then ask, why aren't you doing these things now? Remember, the awareness of death isn't a curse. It's the gift that strips away all pretense and leaves only what's real. The clock is ticking, but this isn't cause for panic. It's permission to finally start living without apology. The 8th Stoic principle. The Stoic philosophy encourages us to consciously detach ourselves from an excessive reliance on material possessions and external circumstances, teaching us that true fulfillment does not stem from accumulating objects or chasing fleeting experiences. Instead, when we shift our focus inward, we begin to uncover a profound and enduring sense of freedom, one that remains unshaken by the unpredictable fluctuations of the world around us. This inner peace arises from a place of self-awareness and acceptance, where our happiness is no longer dictated by temporary highs or uncontrollable events. By embracing this mindset, we cultivate a way of living that is more authentic, aligned with our deepest values, and free from the pressures of societal expectations. As a result, we experience greater joy, clarity, and purpose in our daily lives, making choices that reflect our true selves rather than conditioned desires. This transformation doesn't just benefit us individually. It radiates outward, positively influencing our relationships, communities, and the broader world. When we operate from a place of inner stability and genuine contentment, we naturally inspire and uplift those around us, creating a ripple effect of kindness, understanding, and meaningful connection. Ultimately, this path leads to a more harmonious existence, one where both our lives and the lives of others are enriched in ways that material wealth alone could never achieve. The 9th Stoic principle: the power of acceptance and focus. This is a powerful reminder of how essential it is to accept the things we cannot change and direct our energy toward the things we can. Rooted in the wisdom of Epictetus, this teaching encourages us to embrace serenity and acceptance, especially when facing unavoidable circumstances. Acceptance doesn't mean surrendering to negativity or allowing hardship to overwhelm us. It means acknowledging reality and finding constructive ways to navigate it. By doing so, we free up mental and emotional energy to focus on what truly lies within our control: our thoughts, actions, and responses to life's challenges. This philosophy reveals that true freedom and strength come not from controlling external events, but from choosing how we respond to them. When we stop resisting the inevitable, we cultivate inner peace and mental balance. More importantly, acceptance allows us to redirect our efforts toward meaningful change, improving what we can, rather than wasting energy on what we cannot. The 9th Stoic principle: acceptance and action. The 9th Stoic principle teaches us to accept the unchangeable and concentrate on the changeable. By embracing this mindset, we unlock greater serenity, resilience, and success. Living this way fosters authenticity and purpose, empowering us to use our skills and resources to build a fulfilling and meaningful life. Mastering emotions in difficult times. The 10th Stoic principle, influenced by Seneca, guides us in managing our emotions and maintaining calm under pressure. It reminds us that we are not passive victims of our feelings. We have the power to choose our responses. Self-awareness is key. By observing our emotions without judgment or suppression, we gain clarity over our reactions and can respond with intention rather than impulse. In moments of stress or anxiety, mindful breathing becomes an invaluable tool. Slow, deliberate breaths activate the body's relaxation response, counteracting tension and restoring mental clarity. Similarly, practicing mindfulness keeps us anchored in the present, breaking the cycle of worry and rumination that often accompanies adversity. Ultimately, the 10th principle teaches emotional resilience. Through self-awareness, mindful breathing, and presence, we cultivate mental clarity and inner calm. This equips us to face challenges with wisdom, leading to greater contentment, peace, and fulfillment in life. So what area of your life needs this stoic reset most? Your work, relationships, peace of mind? When has listening served you better than speaking? Your story might help others find their own silent strength. What's one failure that ultimately made you stronger? Your story could help reframe someone else's struggle, so share the channel. Drop a comment below and hit subscribe to see the continuation for your journey.